All right. Well, he
But
seems to be on a tear as of recent, and we cannot wait to see him on March 23rd at Bonneville High School. It is none other than Hava Nathan Owens. Hava, it is so good to chat with you. It is so great to talk to you headed into this fight. How you been, man? It's been a couple of months.
thank you for having me, brother. I've been great. I've been great. Especially after that last one of the toughest fights I've had so far. Um, yeah, man. I feel like I just kind of been on cloud nine, you know.
Yeah, I mean, let's kick things off right there. I mean, the win over Kesley Collar, that was one of the toughest opponents I would say you have fought throughout your entire career, and it's been a long one at that. How did you feel against Kesley in that fight back in November?
I felt probably the best I've ever felt for any fight camp or inside the cage for any fight. I had my diet down and my training schedule down, as well as having my work schedule intact. Yeah, and the game plan that my coaches had for me, um, following that almost to a T. I mean, they still, let me hear it after the fight, but it was something that we kind of had fallen into plan. We had one of two scenarios kind of going into that fight, whether it was being able to finish him early, or it was going to be a 15-minute fight. Um, yeah, and it went the 15-minute route.
It was really a fantastic fight. I think we all really enjoyed it, and we were all obviously entertained as well, as you always bring it. I think one of the big things that I've wanted to ask you, maybe since the first time I ever called your fights, is that your Fierce career dates back further than most. You made your Fierce debut, not your MMA debut. That's a couple years behind even this. Your Fierce
Yeah.
debut was Fierce FC 3 back in 2016. How have you seen the growth of both MMA at large as well as the growth of Fierce? Because I feel like it's pretty staggering. And I don't get to pick the brains of a lot of people who have been along for the ride for as long as you have.
Yeah, it's been an amazing kind of experience to kind of witness not only the local scene of MMA, because I started training when I was 15, and I bounced around from different gyms, whether it was Westside Jiu Jitsu to Foley's to the Garage to the Koa, and then down to Maury's, like getting to meet all these different fighters and interact with them and a lot of the local legends. It was just I felt like I was extremely lucky and extremely blessed to kind of witness and be around all that. And and for Fierce, I mean, yeah, man. I remember fighting down in price, being terrified, fighting at 126 pounds, I think, barely making it. Just yeah, I mean, Fierce has really come a long way, and it's only going to get bigger. I'm excited for where it's going. I talk this promotion up so much in my normal everyday life. That I can't say enough good things about it.
Oh man, well, we really appreciate it, and I think that also just to add on to that, I think you are one of those local legends. I mean, you have been around for a long time, and I don't think people realize the amount of time that you have clocked in over the years. With that being said, 14 total fights between your amateur and professional careers. Is there a specific name? Is there a specific person who is maybe the toughest guy you've ever faced, or one that really flies off the page for you personally?
Oh man, there's so many. I, because my thing is, I always want to fight somebody who's always going to challenge me in some way. I never wanted to get easy layup fights. I, I I think all of them have been equally tough for the time being of when I face them. Um, Knowing how far I've come now, I know that for a lot of my fights, I think for every one of my fights, I would carry a win over. But it's all about learning and growing. And with the 14 fights, I kind of realized that I think last week I was like, man, I've had that many fights. I've been around for so long. Like, Jesus, time flies by. But yeah, you really get to learn and experience different things with these fighters and different strengths. When I went against Justin Horsley, the wrestling was insane. Like, I mean, his championship level in wrestling, and really, showed that. And then when I went against Joe Haro, like I had a good opening, and then I got a little carried away. I want to be like Khabib, but hey, got to cool it down. I'm still a striker. I'm still easing that way into the grappling, and Joel had to humble me a little bit, and then kind of my easing my way through. I just kind of had to learn in different aspects, not only inside the cage but outside of the cage with my diet and my exercise. Trying not to overtrain, trying to make sure I get the right amount of training. My coaches, Eduardo Mori and Ernie Chavez, they're really on top of things when it not only comes to me for my training camp, but for a lot of my other teammates. I mean, they produce so many different champions. Like I get so excited talking about it and thinking about it. I love this sport, and I love being here. Yeah, it's amazing.
Man, every single thing you just said is something that I plan to just ask you about in this interview. So I'm really excited to talk about all these things. One of the big things I want to talk about, your performances. As of recent, it just seems like there's been this uptick in production, execution. You really have turned yourself. I mean, I believe through the first 4 fights of your professional career was a 1-3 record. Now you flip that on its head and you've won 2 of your last 3. Where has that change happened in either your personal life, your training, or just your ability to perform inside the cage?
I think it was a combination of many things, personal, in the gym, in the cage. Uh, I don't know if a lot of people know it, but Eduardo Mori and Ernie Chavez baptized me a few years ago and changed my life a lot for the better. I, I've found a big change in that, as well as my wife. She's been a godsend. She's a blessing. She's definitely kept my head on my shoulders. She's been through a few of my fight camps and has really started to understand. And she's also nutritionist, like scientist. So so I'm like, hey, get to work out for me. But yeah, Eddie really takes his time with me in terms of the grappling, and his background in Kyokushin karate, and his Muay Thai knowledge, as well as Ernie Chavez. He's a former Olympian. He trained with Muhammad Ali. I mean, really high credentials, boxing coach. He's not only a great trainer, but he's also a great man, both of them. And they've really helped me in my mental game. I think where I was even a few years ago, before I got baptized, I was a different guy. And being around for so long, a lot of people have got to know me. And I've had to kind of learn along the ways, because I'm a young guy. I grew up in a hard life. I you know, uh, my mom and my grandma did their best to keep us safe, but uh, things can get difficult, and you build up these trauma responses and reactions to things, and it's only when you not only get the right people around you, but you make that choice yourself to make those proper changes for the better. And I know that uh, in the past, for a lot of my fights and performances, I had a nasty attitude, or kind of a bit of an antagonist kind of role. I just felt myself fall into, because I felt it was me against the world. And once I kind of got over that and got past that, and started to understand there's a lot more love in the world, and to take people more, uh, give them more of the benefit of the doubt, rather than try to see that they're acting maliciously against me. And it's helped me tremendously throughout my life, these past few years, trying to really grow upon that.
You mentioned your wife, your coaches. Are these the people that have helped kind of mold you into this almost new person that you've become over the last few years?
I would say so. They played very, very key roles in the molding of who I've become the past few years. Absolutely.
One of the big things that I did not know about you, I didn't realize that your wife was a nutritionist. That's actually
Yeah,
really, really cool. How much has that benefited you over your last few camps now that you two are together?
man, it has. Like I said before, she's a blessing, and when it comes to my nutrition as well, she's right on top of it. She's always making sure I'm eating because that was one of my main things. Like, no, no, I'm fine. I don't need to eat. No, no, weight cut. Stupid, stupid, stupid. So not only her, but my coach Ernie, they both of them kind of collaborated and helped me um, with a diet plan. Really understand, and it turned to a diet plan to more of a lifestyle. And I mean, I don't know if getting COVID a couple times helps, but I think that lifestyle change of what I was eating, what I was consuming, has really helped. My vices have never been like drinking and smoking. It's always been like, yo, I could take two pizzas, two large pizzas, double the pepperoni, double the cheese and the sauce. Let's go, let's do it. But I can't do that. I gotta make sure I'm top of my game. I gotta make sure I'm eating right, I'm staying healthy, and I'm also making sure I'm meditating as well, taking that time to kind of be in the moment, be present. You know.
When you guys first met, this is the last question about this. It's just fascinating to me because my wife is also very similar. Of like, how do these people cut weight? Like, how on earth do you do that? With your wife being a nutritionist and having that background, when you guys met, did she think, "Gosh, you are crazy to think that you can get down
Yes.
to 25 or 35 whenever it may
Yeah.
be you guys met in the timeline?"
She she didn't believe me. She was like, "There's no way. I can't see it," because there'd be times there'd be times in between camps where I would get up to 170 because again I'm just eating, I'm working out. I'm not really like slacking from the gym, but I'm definitely eating double. And she's like, "There's no way you get down to that weight," and it, it it was difficult before I made the life changes because I was like, no, no, just do it like normal. And yeah, your body after a while when you get older, you can't shed that off as easy. And so she once she kind of schooled me up to it, and as well as Ernie schooled me up to it, yeah, it was over from then. Yeah, I had nothing but healthy food coming my way. And if I did have my little cheat meals here and there, it was actually little things that my body could barely take. And yeah, now I just crave nothing but just fruits and veggies. And I mean, I'll get my sugar for drinks. Don't get me wrong. I love the fruitiness, but yeah, no, I gotta make sure I'm taking that water in too.
What
Get it
what's
on me
made
to have.
What's maybe an ideal cheat meal? I don't even know if I should be playing with this right now, but what is something for a post fight, like after a big fight, after a big camp?
Oh,
What is something that you like to consume?
man, one of my one of my things, my go-to things for a while was getting a pizza and getting a chocolate milkshake. But these last few fights, like afterwards, I'm like, man, I'm beat. I'm ready to go home. It's time for me to take a, go to bed. I'll wake up tomorrow. Maybe have a cheat meal. Maybe I don't know. This pizza's turning my stomach right now. And I'll finish half the milkshake. Yeah, I've been trying. I'm trying, but these sheet meals ain't coming.
How did you originally get into a gym? You talked about, starting to train in your teenage years. How did you get involved in martial arts?
Well, it started from trying to keep myself out of the streets, from gang violence, drug violence. Uh, it was just so enticing to fight. Uh, and so I got a lot of experience fighting in the streets, but you don't get paid for that. And you definitely have to pay for it when you go and get locked up and go do community service, scrubbing graffiti off walls. But um, I came across my math teacher when I was in high school, Mark Johnson. He was the owner of Westside Jiu-Jitsu. He told me to come through and do a few free classes, and I went there for a little bit, and then I had a friend. Uh, his name is uh, uh, Jesus Diaz, Chewy Diaz, we call him. But he wanted me to be a sparring partner for boxing, and then I was a sparring partner for a little bit until he kind of fell out of love with it, and that was over at Foley's. From Foley's, I had a teammate, Miles Welk. He's a local legend. He's like my little big brother. You know, he's a great guy. Um, Him and Foley were like, "Hey, man, you know, you want to take this serious? Like, take you up to the garage with Dave Castillo and Bobby King and all them, and have you go and train with them." So I would take the bus from 30th and Washington all the way up to I think it was in Clearfield. Yeah, it was quite the trip. But from the garage, they merged with Koa, and then from Koa, I went to down to Maurice, and I've kind of been there ever since. I did take about a year off, but once I came back, Maury welcomed me with open arms, and you know, gave me a free slot right there, and made me one of the side kickboxing coaches. You know, so I help out on Mondays and sometimes Tuesdays, Thursdays if he needs me. But you know, it's been a real blessing to kind of go through all that and kind of meet all those people and be where I am now. You know.
What is it like being able to train with the likes of Ryder Campo, Amy Campo? I mean, yourself, like there's some big names out of that gym. And I'm curious from your perspective, what is it like being able to train with one of the top gyms in the entire state?
Um, I Man, I can't say enough good things about both of those guys. They their talent, their natural ability, uh, most of all, their coach, Eduardo Mori. He's been their coach from day one. He's had them since they're kids. Uh, they it's really like that cliche saying, "The iron sharpens iron." Only these guys are freaking diamonds, man. These guys, if you guys could see how it is in the gym with these two, you got the Phenon over there rolling on the ground and just beating up all the guys in the gym. You know, doesn't matter how muscular they are. You know, she's putting it on them, and then of course you got Ryder. He's purple belt. He's going through that, but man, when it comes to that Muay Thai, he just he's untouchable. There's only a few people that we can like really understand their styles, and his style is so unique and out there. I mean, to get that Muay Thai style and make it into that to the MMA game is amazing. That guy's great. Especially his last performance. I was like, dude, you look like some kind of like hero in a video game. And it's like you're doing the UFC career and you create a character. You're like, oh, this is a badass guy, man. Yeah, this is who it is. You know, that's what it's like. But this guy goes out there and just does it in real life. You know, I, yeah, I was sweating bullets in the back because I didn't know what was going on. So I'm just freaking out here and cheers. I was like, oh no, I hope he's okay. Then he comes out, he's fine. And then I watch it online. I'm like, oh my gosh, he looked amazing. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, no. I can't say enough good things about those guys. And yeah, all my teammates there really there's actually quite a few there that are, really good at Tracy Hardy's there. He's a really good guy too. And man, I wish I could just name all of them. We'd be here forever. I love
Alex
all those
Johnson's
guys.
another one that just won the belt last week, comes to
Yeah,
mind, you know.
Alex Johnson, getting kicked by Alex Johnson in training, like he goes tree trunks for legs, man. Like I try my hardest to work like get around it, but when I see those kicks coming, I just brace. I just brace myself. I hope for dear life I survive this. And he's just the sweetest guy. He's the biggest sweetheart. he's definitely beating himself up over his last performance because he's like, oh, I could do better. But that's kind of like how all of us fighters are. We're all like, we could do better. We're like, we can always do better. And especially our coaches too. They're like, you suck. Like, yeah, I know. I'm happy you won, but you sucked.
You know,
Yeah.
you bring up a good point. All these guys that are putting on performances in the Maverik Center, you are a resident at the Maverik Center. Your last 6 straight fights have been in that arena. Is it going to be weird on March 23rd not fighting in such a huge venue like you've been used to over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I love fighting at the Mavic Center. It's such an amazing place, and the promotion of Fish Fight, like you guys are so professional. I mean, it's exactly what I thought it'd be when I was a kid, like going to the UFC. I don't need to go to the UFC. I'm here at Fierce Fighting. This is freaking awesome. Like you're getting the whole experience here as a fighter. Like yeah, like and going through that Mavic Center and walking through the arena and walking out and seeing all those people and performing out there. It's an amazing feeling. But I'm gonna really enjoy fighting in a different arena and fighting in my hometown, Ogden. Fighting that man, this is gonna be so interesting. Like being in this venue and being a little bit more of an intimate kind of setting. You know, Maverick Center is a little bit more like, yeah, I'm professional. Yes, I'm up on the stage. But here it's gonna be like, all right, we all coming into the gym for a sparring session, huh? You guys gonna witness this, or it's gonna be our sparring session. But I think it's gonna be really fun, and we're gonna really put on a great show. All the fights on the card, really. I mean, the way that the fights are all booked, there's really no way that these cards can fail. They just keep getting better and better. I mean, of course, the local fighters keep getting better and better, but of course, the promotion, I mean, going out here and putting us all out there and really helping us in our careers. I mean, we can do it without you guys.
What do you make of Steven Styrwall, who you're going to be facing opposite in this upcoming fight? It's going to be a big one. It's definitely a tough test, but I think
Yeah,
it's also a very well put together matchup. I think you guys complement each other very well for a
yeah,
very entertaining fight.
I completely agree with you. I was just talking about that with my coaches and my teammates about him. I watched a few of his fights, and we're we're fairly similar into the way that we pressure our opponents, and we both like to stand up and keep the fight standing. But if it goes to the ground, if we have to, we'll work the mixed martial arts. But I'm really looking forward to this. Just like I was looking forward to the Kelsey Collard fight. It's a little bit unfortunate in the beginning when the eye poke and everything. I felt like the biggest jerk when that happened. And so yeah, I try to take it more of a hard sparring match for that one because uh yeah, that there's nothing worse than having like an accidental eye poke, but it's also like the understanding of like this is a fight game, accidents happen, it's like people are gonna put their fingers in your glove. People might knee you in the below the belt, or you might clash heads, but it's not malicious. It's not intentional. You're out there fighting for your life, and I think with Steven Starwell, it's going to be fairly similar. We're going to go out there. We're going to put on the best performance that we both can put on, and it's going to be a banger. It's going to be two guys just clashing, going at it, and putting on some fireworks for everybody.
More of a journalistic question here. You talked about being
Oh,
in your hometown. How many people can we expect chanting Havana Nathan Owens in the crowd on March
uh,
23rd?
hopefully everybody, even if they're coming in from out of town. Oh, hey man, cheer me up, man. I love that. Like I said, I've been so used to the antagonist role, and so having a bit of a flip of having a more of a protagonist role and having people cheer for you and actually hear your name chanted, like that was so surreal. I think that was the first time I actually heard my name get chanted in a fight in 14 fights. I was like, dude, this is awesome. It hypes you up. But yeah, I hope everybody who shows up is going to cheer for me, and I hope we fill that place out, man. I hope we pack it in.
I definitely believe that we will have a packed house for that one at Bonneville High School. Last question from me. 8.5 years in, you have done everything that there is to do. You've won belts, you've done all sorts of different things. What is your end goal in your MMA career? How much longer do you want to do this? And what in your mind is the end goal for Havan Nathan Owens?
Well, um, I would say the end goal for me at the end of my career, I want to make it to the big shows. I want to make it to the UFC or Bellator, PFL, whatever may come my way. Um, I also am very humble in where I am. Um, I, I'm already living my dream as it is. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a martial artist like Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan. I mean, like stunt guy. Really just going out there. But then I also wanted to help the elderly, and I get to do that. I'm a chef for old folks home, for assisted living. Um, I got like 70 something residents I got to cook for and remember their allergies and their favorite meals to have and all that stuff. And yeah, I had being being able to go out and perform and be a martial artist. And I mean, not to mention, I also grew up watching the WWE, so I also wanted to go out there and do flips and perform, and so that's just as good. I mean, I love this stuff. I mean, being in Fierce, being out there and performing is just like, to me, being out there in the ring and performing in the WWE, being my character, showing out and really putting it on to show for everybody. Really, I'm happy with my life and where I'm at now in the present moment, and it only gets better from here. Really, whatever comes my way, and win, lose, draw in any of my fights, I'm always happy just to perform and do my duty as serving for others, whether it's serving behind the kitchen and or behind the counter in the kitchen, or serving and putting on a good show for everybody in Fierce. I was put on this earth to to make others happy, and I try my best every day to do so. So
Well, he is an absolute gem of a human being. It has been such a pleasure getting to talk to you a little bit. And he is just as entertaining a fighter. Bonneville High School, March 23rd, Ogden, Utah. It is going to be a whole lot of fun with Hava Nathan Owens. Hava,
thank
thank
you,
you
brother.
so much for the time. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate you for having me. I mean, I'm nervous, but I'll do my best here.
We'll have a
Thank you again. I
blast.
appreciate it.
We'll have a blast. Thank you so, so much.